popular hiking area in Palo Alto is also a potential wildfire waiting to happen.
Now, city leaders say they have a plan to reduce the risk. Night Beat's Maria Medina is in the Palo Alto foothills with how residents are already preparing for the worst.
The Palo Alto foothills may be beautiful, but it's also been designated to be at an elevated risk for a wildfire, mostly because of its power lines and utility equipment.
You know, we have a plan. If the fire comes down this way, there's an evacuation plan. We all have go bags, and we'll be ready.
Doug McLean's lived in the Palo Alto foothills for more than 2 decades.
So this is definitely a work in progress.
And in the last 6 months, he's worked on a project
When we activate the system, wets down the whole area.
that he says would put out any embers from a fire to keep his home from burning to the ground.
The sprays would come out here and wet an area out to about there, around the entire perimeter of the house.
The area is at an elevated risk for a wildfire, and Palo Alto Utilities just put together a utilities wildfire mitigation plan to abide by a new law passed after several of the state's recent wildfires.
And it's hard to look at the fires up in the northern part of the state and what happened to Santa Rosa and not realize that, you know, this is just another fire lane here. We just haven't lit up yet.
Palo Alto Utilities' plan to reduce the threat of a fire includes rebuilding, replacing, and rerouting overhead power lines and poles, with the possibility of transitioning overhead lines underground, as well as managing vegetation around utility equipment.
And so we want to be able to see the fire coming, and so we're lobbying the city to put cameras up on that fire station.
Doug says it's only a matter of time when, not if, a fire hits the foothills.
I think it probably is just a matter of time.
And Doug says a fire marshal visits the area at least a couple times a year to make sure every resident has their vegetation cut back in case of a fire. On the Night Beat, I'm Maria Medina.